let's swap that diff. Alright, so there's obviously I've started taking some of it apart, but basically those bolts, they're all the same size, so you just can take an impact, whatever, take those all off, take the cover off. I've obviously got mine pretty cleaned up. And what I did to help make this easier is I just took some scrap wood that I had and just cut it and sunk a bunch of screws into it just to kind of help hold it a little bit stable in place. So, and I've got a couple little dowels in there to help hold it in position. So when you get this open, I guess first what I've done is I've purchased a 4.18 diff that's a non-LSD. So we're going to be swapping in that Tomei 1.5 way. So once you get this open, there's a bunch of other videos, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. These are directional, meaning driver side to passenger side. So they can't be flipped like this, they won't fit on, but they do need to stay to the correct side. So when you put those aside, probably want to label them. I'll label them outside of that. And in order to keep costs down, I'm going to see if I can pull these bearings off. We're going to measure the backlash and then pull off this ring gear. So I'll update you in a little bit if when I'm pulling this out, if I can't actually get those off and I have to buy new ones. Alright, so let's see if I can do the backlash here. So this is going to be a really important measurement because before you loosen anything or do any of that, you want to measure the backlash to make sure that when you swap in the new one, transferring over this ring gear, you have the same amount, because you could do a lot of damage by not having the ring gear aligned with the pinion gear. So what I experienced is that even though I tried to drain some oil, there's maybe still some coating where the teeth are contacting. So it can be kind of challenging, but if you can get all of it out, you should be able to hear it. I don't know if that's loud enough, but there's other videos out there too. So basically, you want to get this measurement, which is about, in my case, 7 thousandths. So, and it rocks back and forth. It's barely enough to feel it. So we'll do that, pull this guy out, and after I swap the ring gears, we'll measure this backlash again. Oh, and there's you always want to make sure that your probe is your dial indicator is perpendicular to the travel of these ring gears. So I chose mine to be basically straight up and down. You can do it at any orientation, just needs to be perpendicular to its travel in order to get an accurate reading like this. Alright, so I'm kind of a dummy, but basically what you do is you put one of these in, pry bar from each side, and then you press down on each of them. And that will allow you to break it free. You can pull it out. Okay. Don't lose any sort of the shims or anything like that, because we're going to need that to remain the same side to side when we put it back in. Alright, so here's a look on the inside of the diff. So I'll do a little bit of cleaning out on this, just because there seems to be a little bit of particulate in there. But yeah, so basically, if you always want to verify which, or if you want to double check, not only does it say it on the cover what the gear ratio is, it's also printed or stamped into the casting here. Or not, maybe not in the casting, whatever this is called. But I got it here, 4.181. I don't know if that will show up, but it's there. Well, look at that. Oh, interesting. I didn't think they put thread locker on these, but there's blue thread locker on all of these. I guess that means it's probably a good idea to put it back on when I reinstall. Neat. Alright, there we go. Ring gear. So, the next trick, let's put it on the other diff, and let's see if I can pull those off somehow. Now, where the hell should I put this? Alright, I'll try throwing a picture up on the screen, but basically I made this really kind of sketchy looking tool, and you can see it actually ended up bending a little bit. Basically what I did was, there's two halves, and this ended up fitting under the bearing, and I threaded this bolt through the top, and I had a plate that covers the top of that up, so when I thread this down, it basically helped press that off. And then to get them back on, I basically just heated them up a little bit, took a block of wood and a mallet, pounded them back on. So we'll see how well that works. Not the prettiest tool that I made, but got the job done. Alright, so I threw in the new axle seals, and if I had to recommend if you were doing them, unless you have the right tools, I would say don't, because that was a big pain. Try and get a little bit of the gear oil on all the surfaces before I try and put it together. Probably not the best way to do it, but that's all I got.